Midsummer hits and the garden goes flat. The early spring blooms drop, and you are left staring at a wall of green leaves. Perennials give a garden its architecture and return year after year, but they operate on a strict timeline. Most peak for 2 to 6 weeks, and then their flowering cycle ends until the following spring. Annual flowers provide the alternative, relentless color from the moment the last frost thaws until the first freeze of winter. They do not pause, and they do not go dormant in August. This chart outlines the color contract. Perennials are a long-term capital investment with high initial cost. Annuals operate as a yearly subscription. You pay a lower initial cost for continuous color in exchange for high-frequency maintenance. Annuals solve the perennial color gap, but require you to take on a strict operational debt. You commit a specific amount of time, water, and seasonal labor to keep them performing. An annual plant completes its entire life cycle in a single growing season. Germination, growth, flowering, seed set, and death all happen within a few months. Because winter will kill it, an annual has no biological incentive to store energy in its roots. Its only mission is to reproduce. It must set seed before the frost arrives. Modern annuals, like zinnias and petunias, are genetically engineered to overproduce flowers in a desperate, continuous attempt to fulfill this reproductive drive. They push out thousands of blooms to ensure survival. Buying an annual is purchasing a biological engine. How you actively manage that engine's outputs determines exactly how much color it yields. The primary maintenance cost of an annual garden is deadheading. This is the manual removal of spent, fading flowers before they can fully form seed pods. This diagram illustrates the hormonal timeline. Once an annual produces a seed, it receives a signal to shut down new flowers. Deadheading intercepts this process before seed set. Kept in a perpetual state of reproductive effort, the plant rapidly produces more flowers. This biological hack requires weekly manual labor. Planting high-impact varieties like zinnias, cosmos, or petunias means you are agreeing to pay this weekly deadhead tax to force them to keep blooming. If you lack the time for that labor, you must select genetically self-cleaning varieties. Plants like vinca, calibrachoa, and waxthebonias naturally drop their spent flowers and keep blooming without any manual intervention. Choosing a plant without first assessing your willingness to pay the weekly deadhead tax is the primary reason gardens stop blooming and burn out by midsummer. Beyond weekly maintenance, you must manage deployment timing. The garden center inventory is divided into 2 distinct categories: cool season and warm season annuals. On the first sunny weekend of spring, gardeners routinely buy flats of warm season summer plants and put them straight into freezing spring soil. This chart plots temperature tolerance. Cool season plants peak in April but decline in summer heat. Warm season plants require warm soil and peak in midsummer. Planting warm season varieties too early permanently stunts them in cold soil. Waiting 3 weeks yields significantly better growth. The most efficient approach is the seasonal handoff. You use cool season plants to bridge the spring gap and systematically replace them with warm season transplants only after the soil has reached summer temperatures. Soil temperature, rather than the calendar date or retail availability, must dictate your planting schedule to yield a positive return on your investment. These rules compound heavily when you move plants into the most visually spectacular yet environmentally hostile application, the patio container. To create maximum density in a confined space, designers use the thriller, filler, spiller formula. You install an upright focal plant, a mounding plant for the middle, and a trailing plant cascading over. Pots lack the soil volume to hold sustained moisture and nutrition. Potting mix nutrients wash out within 4 to 6 weeks. A densely planted container demands heavy daily watering, which flushes nutrients away. You must manually replace these nutrients weekly to maintain active growth. The visual penalty for missing this maintenance cadence is severe. Starved, dehydrated plants stretch out, become leggy, and stop producing flowers entirely by early August. High-density containers are effectively a part-time job. Without a commitment to daily watering or an automated drip irrigation system, the plants will fail. You need a decision-making framework to match your lifestyle to the correct plant genetics. This chart plots maintenance effort against visual impact. The bottom right is the failure zone, high effort, low impact. The top left is for the time-poor pragmatist, prioritizing self-cleaning genetics. The top right belongs to the high-impact maximizer, trading heavy maintenance for massive, continuous blooms. A successful summer garden results from aligning your weekly schedule with the correct matrix quadrant. Whether choosing high-labor deadheading or low-labor self-cleaning survivors, it must be an intentional choice. An annual plant gives you everything it has. It holds no energy back for next year, provided you fulfill your end of the operational contract. Planting a seasonal garden is managing a biological event, and the currency you spend in time and water